Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Selamat siang, selamat tengah hari, good afternoon. Ibu-ibu, bapa-bapa, kakek-kakek, dosen-dosen, anak-anak, semua yang di Indonesia dan rakan-rakan saya di Malaysia, ex-PhD student saya, PhD student saya semasa ini yang turut menyertai majlis ilmu ini. Terima kasih kerana hadir. Okay, this is good because you did on the physical or the outer layer of gender identity. You talk about how female voices through certain mechanism in politics, but I am going to talk about the inner gender identity issues. That is voices of the female and male in Malaysia in regard to their gender identity. It will be, I will go through Gender 101 just to recap what is it. Bukan kerana tak tahu, tak mengerti, tapi hanya untuk reinstate, untuk mengingati bahawa this is gender identity. What happened to gender and gender identity, and how do people perceive, think about it and demonstrate, mendemonstrasi, mengekspresi dan menjalani peranan gender, the gender roles. Okay, now let me see how do I share the screen. Let me know ya kalau dia keluar atau tidak keluar. Mana dia pergi? Share screen. Okay. Now share. Okay. Not yet. Okay. Okay, are we good?
Tampak. Sip.
Yeah, I miss going to Indonesia. Indonesia is my second home. I go there every year, like 2-3 times. So yeah, it's okay. We are connected and we can discuss. Gender identity in contemporary society, the experiences of Malaysians. Also, we're talking about the millennial, sebab pada peringkat umur tertentu, you ada isu dengan gender identity, tapi orang sehingga meninggal pun masih ada isu gender identity. So, it is very important for us, one, to understand. Yang kedua, to give them voices. Sebab mereka perlu menyuarakan, but they don't know where to go, what to do. Mereka beruntung kalau mereka dalam kelompok yang memahami dan saling membantu. Tapi kalau mereka dalam masyarakat yang sangat taksub, rigid, mereka akan menghadapi masalah dan they have to deal with this every day. So gender identity is a real struggle yang sebenar yang dilalui oleh sesiapa saja. Okay, I will begin with, okay, ini kita pertama kali. Terima kasih Dr. Yuyun kerana menjemput saya dan wujudkan perhubungan ini. I am so honoured to share. Saya bukan pakar gender. Saya bukan pakar apa-apa, semua ilmu dari Allah. Saya hanya menyampaikan apa yang saya tahu, berkongsi pendapat, ilmu dan pandangan. So that's what we're going to do today. Saya akan mulakan dengan, ini kucing kami bernama Fai-Fai. Saya panggil dia Aunty Apai. Dia sangat tua, umur dia kita dah tak ingat, daripada gemuk, dia dah jadi tua dan cranky macam saya. Tapi saya tetap juga my favorite. Apai dia ada dia tahu gender dia, so dia berperanan dalam gender dia. You can see over the years how Fai-Fai react. So kucing yang tahu peranan dia. Begitu juga dengan sashimi. Ni the favorite. Ini memang female cat. Dia memang berperanan macam itu. All the female traits in human ada pada dia. Dia express diri dia begini. Okay. So when we look at animals, we can also see sometimes ada juga animals yang tak tahu nak letak gender dia di mana sebab dia ada masalah dengan gender identity. So, here's a thought. Our world is an incredibly gendered one. The clothes you wear, bila you pilih ya, nak pakai apa, you already, I'm a male, female, I'm a trans, I'm a white. Your hairstyle, okay, sebab kita dah diberi peranan, kita dah diberi ciri-ciri, kalau lelaki rambutnya begini ya, nggak boleh begini, tapi sekarang lelaki-lelaki pun ramai berambut panjang dan tocang and all, is already acceptable. The things you buy, lelaki akan lebih berminat membeli barangan yang dicirikan kepada hanya lelaki membeli barang-barangan ini. Perempuan macam ni, macam tadi makeup. Walaupun berpanas demonstration, makeup mesti intact, bulu mata mesti apa? Pusing-pusing, golong-golong, lipstick mesti on. So you buy things like that according how society prescribe which gender you are, which toilet you go to. You saya tak akan masuk toilet lelaki kecuali by mistake, which is pernah 2 kali di bandara. Saya lari masuk, tiba-tiba semua lelaki-lelaki, semua pandang saya. Dan saya kata, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Tiba-tiba penjaga toilet itu lari. Kakak, ini lelaki-lelaki. Okay, bye. So, unless you tak perasan, you won't. The public spaces you find yourself in. Contohnya masa di masjid ya, perempuan di belakang, ada sudut kecil. You semayang, tidak boleh ada penjarakan sosial. Kenapa? Sebab space-nya kecil. Lelaki besar the domain because it's already the society already prescribe that man, ketua keluarga and all those practical nature, so they get bigger space sebab mereka layak begini, wanita layak begini. Padahal lelaki dan perempuan semua layak ke masjid. Every step of the way, someone is mentally filling in a form for you with either sama ada you male atau female. Orang tengok you, orang kata dia perempuan, dia lelaki. Kenapa? All the traits, ciri-ciri itu dah ada. But what's inside you, the gender identity that you want to bring out adalah amat sukar. Kenapa? Sebab kita tertakluk kepada preskripsi masyarakat dan of course agama. But I'm not going into that sebab saya bukan, saya tak buat kajian mengenai agama. Dan what your ideology, your thinking, your intellectual belief is yours. Okay, we respect that. Okay, dikatakannya gender ada 2, sama ada kamu lelaki atau wanita. Kalau kamu tak lelaki, wanita. Kamu tak lelaki, tapi sekarang tidak. Gender is no more binary, bukan lelaki. It doesn't matter sama ada you subscribe to this or you don't. It's okay. Kita semua terbuka pilihan sendiri. Tapi hakikatnya gender exists on the spectrum. Ia adalah satu daripada lelaki, perempuan, in between ada agender, pangender, transgender, segala jenis gender. Okay? Ini gambar-gambar ini saya tak tulis sumber di sini sebab I don't know how. I'm not good with all this technology, but it's from the internet ya. Jangan nanti dituduh plagiarize pula. Okay, what I'm gonna do dalam masa yang singkat ini, I setting the scene. First, I'm gonna talk about gender in general, the takes and the makes. Why gender matters? It matters a lot. Gender identity. Why gender identity matters? It matters a lot. Responses, voices from the Malaysian. Okay, saya temu, I give question to a group of millennial dari negeri yang berbeza, latar belakang yang berbeza, pendidikan yang berbeza. But in the end, you see the results. So this is not a full-fledged research. It's a small observation, which is, at the end of the day, is very meaningful because it says what for most of the time cannot be said publicly. Okay, moving on or moving away. Do we want to move on with this? Kita sepikan, kita tak beri mereka peluang untuk bercakap, untuk menunjukkan siapa mereka sebenarnya. Or kita moving away from this, not being very rigid about gender identity ni, we give them voices. So the live realities of them. What is it really to be trapped in this gender identity? And the end, I will map the terrain because the struggle is real. The struggle is real. The answers later will reflect on this. Okay, yang pertama, gender identity. What is it? Gender identity. So all these words, non-conforming, behavior, female, role, development, parent, dress, sexual, ascribe, dysphoria, assign, heterosexual, all these are words that is very encompass gender and gender identity. So there are a lot of terms, there are a lot of bone of contention, there are a lot of issues yang kita kena deal with. It's not as simple as saya perempuan, saya wanita, saya lelaki. No, it's not. It's not as simple as that. It's very complex. Gender itself is very complex. You take one word, social birth. Apa maksud social birth? There's a lot of research. There's a lot of discussion, even with just this word. Okay, so we must understand that gender is not another word for sex. Orang selalu silap di antara gender identity dengan sexual orientation. Gender is not sex. Gender, social, sex, biology. So kalau you ada your genital, you have a penis, you're a man. You have a vagina, you're a woman. But it's not as simple as bagaimana society melakarkan apabila bayi dilahirkan lelaki, maka pakailah mereka dengan baju biru. Why? Why blue? Why not yellow? Why not magenta? And to differentiate, it's a she when the doctor say, it's a she, it's a he. It's already problematic there. Sebab dia akan menjurus kepada later on, the development, the child itself, dia nak apa, dia nak menjadi apa. Because there are a lot of constraints, there are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of things that they have to deal with. Not all genders are visible. Okay? Bukan semua gender kita boleh nampak. Just because seorang lelaki tu effeminate dan dia suka masak, dia suka kemas rumah, it doesn't mean that dia perempuan. It's just, he is a human. Just because perempuan ni suka aktiviti lasak yang tak fit into the gender roles, it doesn't mean dia ingin menjadi lelaki. Dia suka buat aktiviti sebab dia manusia. So, gender is culturally defined. How you view yourself, how you dress up, and all is not binary and does not always match sex. Sex is definitely biology. You keluar je, semua orang tepuk tangan, dan cara doktor announce pun macam ni, it's a girl, excited. Kan perempuan kena cakap sopan dan lemah lembut, it's a girl. Dan kalau lelaki, it's a boy. Terus bapa hisap rokok ke apa, sigar ke, because the gender roles is already there, assigned. Terus dapat semua benda ping ping ping, yang lelaki tu biru biru biru. Okay? So gender 101 you akan belajar ini. Gender binary is the categorization of gender into the two distinct opposite sexes. Perempuan laki-laki, perempuan laki-laki. Okay? Trans or transgender, an umbrella term. So okay, everything will fall into this, an umbrella term applied to those whose gender identity is not the same as the sex they were assigned at birth. So walaupun you lelaki, tapi as you grow, you progress, your gender identity wants to be a female. So you will dress accordingly. You akan berkelakuan accordingly seperti wanita. And kita panggil, the term is transgender. Cisgender is someone who identifies exclusively as the sex assigned at birth. So kalau perempuan dilahirkan sebagai mempunyai genital perempuan, maka all the way expression, roles and everything would be according to how culture define. Dan dia pun memang tak ada keinginan untuk menjadi other gender. Genderqueer, a term applied to individuals who do not identify within the gender binary. So genderqueer will have a connotation in your sexual orientation, and transition is the process of changing one's gender expression to match the gender identity. So you akan tukar-tukar mengikut kesesuaian. Capek kan hidup begitu? Tapi itulah pentingnya kita memahami gender identity. Okay, Judith Butler, Gender Trouble, Feminism and the Subversion of Identity, a very renowned feminist. Dr. Johan, who is also in this Zoom, is the expert in this. He is the invited lecturer for my media and gender class, and he talks about this. Okay, gender is a choice, or gender is a role, or gender is a construction that one puts on as one puts on clothes in the morning. Okay, before you berpakaian, there is a one, that is you. You belum pakai lagi, you belum decide lagi. You adalah suatu tubuh manusia. That there is a one who is prior to this gender, a one who goes to the wardrobe of gender and decides with deliberation, conscious effort, which gender it will be today. So the act of putting on your choice, well-informed, what on yourself, your pakaiannya, aksesorinya, apa diletak di atas kepalanya, semuanya adalah gendered the minute you pakai. Sebelum tu, no. I can go out wearing pakaian lelaki, baju Melayu dan berperanan sebagai lelaki walaupun saya perempuan. Tapi saya akan pilih mengikut who am I according to gender identity. And of course, you know who Emma Watson is. It is time that all see gender as spectrum instead of two sets of opposing ideas. Emma Watson is big in gender advocacy. So it's time you see that. Again, like I said, what you believe in, what you subscribe in is about you. But the reality is you need to know that this is happening. Okay? What is gender? Gender, gender identity, and gender expression. Gender means social and cultural expectation of roles and how we present ourselves in society. As plain as that. Bagaimana kita mempersembahkan diri kita dalam masyarakat, bagaimana kita berperanan dalam masyarakat dibentuk oleh the masyarakat that we live in. Masyarakat yang kita ketahui. Masyarakat kata wanita begini, lelaki begini. So we follow. For most people, their gender matches up with the cultural expectation of the sex they were given at birth. Okay, that would be cisgender. Kalau you dilahirkan with a vagina and you berperanan, expression, everything is like how society construct you, then you are cisgender. Others may self-identify as being transgender, agender, or gender non-binary. So others will say, yeah, I've got penis, but I want to wear kebarong and evening gown and all. So they are transgender and they behave within that role. And gender identity means a person's internal sense of whether they are male or female, both or neither. It's a person's internal deeply held sense of one's gender. Gender identity is not visible to others. It is someone's inner sense of the gender. It is about how you feel inside. You tak beritahu siapa. You mungkin tak beritahu mak bapak you, isteri, suami, kawan baik. Tapi dalamnya, you tak merasakan seperti apa yang you patut rasakan. Sebab you ada certain this genital. Jadi, it is important that we understand and we give voices to them. They want to speak up. Sebab mereka tak merasa macam tu. Mereka merasa berbeza dengan genital yang mereka ada. Gender identity might be the same as the sex they were assigned at birth. Yeah, again, cisgender or transgender. A transgender person's internal gender identity doesn't match up with the cultural expectations of the sex they were given at birth. So, you cannot say without trying to understand their situation. Bukan semua orang, not everybody wants to be something else. Everybody wants to be quote unquote normal. Okay, quote unquote normal. Tapi some people, mereka ada perasaan yang berbeza sejak kecil. Banyak penyelidikan yang dilakukan menunjukkan bahawa since you were a child, you've been exposed to all this gendered world, and you akan terdorong kepada satu gender yang mungkin berbeza. I read a very extensive research on this, on child, many factors yang mendorong mereka. So we have to understand. Itu saja, kita kena understand perbezaannya, bahawa gender identity itu adalah satu isu yang sangat penting. Okay, gender expression. A person's gender is expressed outwardly through their name, pronouns, clothing, haircut, behavior, voice or body characteristic. Ia juga termasuk menggunakan washroom, change room that match up with a person's own sense of gender. So, kita akan menggunakan the term masculine, feminine. Okay, so gambar dekat pintu tandas juga ada kain kembang itu perempuan pakai dress, yang lurus itu lelaki pakai seluar. Tapi sekarang semua perempuan pakai seluar. So kena tukar tu gambar di situ. Okay, so this is it. Gender identity, sex assigned at birth. This is how you develop, yeah. Your perceived gender, laki atau perempuan, and gender expression. You akan melahirkan who you are through apa you pakai, bagaimana you cakap, bagaimana you berperanan. So this is a level. The sex assigned at birth, your identity, your expression, and then perception. Kalau begini ya, perempuan kayaknya, kalau begini ya, lelaki kayaknya, tapi tak semesti ya. Okay, this is the development. Ada banyak faktor-faktor yang mempengaruhi, and effort for social acceptance ini sangat penting. Mereka melakukan usaha untuk diterima, yang kalau dalam masyarakat yang sangat tidak terbuka, it's very difficult. That's why we must help them to understand. Okay, I like this. Sorry teacher, but where do the kids whose most salient identity isn't gender and instead self-identity as awesome line up? I would ask for this. Because tak perlu nak gender. Kalau saya pun tak faham kenapa di sekolah kena beratur lelaki, perempuan, sehinggalah ke universiti. Sini perempuan duduk di belakang, lelaki di depan. Of course, it's about patriarchal. It all goes back to the patriarchal society that we're living in. Di Malaysia ke Indonesia ke sama saja, Bu. Semuanya sangat patriarki, semuanya mendewa-dewakan lelaki, mengagung-agungkan lelaki. Tak ada masalah nak agung, nak dewa siapa. But be equal, be equal. Itu je. Okay, our life begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. If you think gender matters, you have to speak up, you have to help out. If you think it matters. Kalau you rasa dalam hidup you makanan saja matter, then you kenalah fokus pada makanan saja. Tapi yang penting, the day you tak nak terima, kalau kita boleh pejam mata kepada kemiskinan, kepada politik yang kotor, kepada politician yang tidak menggunakan akal dan tak bertanggungjawab dalam membuat keputusan, kepada perkara-perkara lain, ekonomi yang sangat mendewakan kapitalis. So gender is also an issue. You must also discuss. Why do you want to be silent? Why do you want to think? Why do you want to judge the transgender? Just because they behave differently doesn't mean they are wrong. It means that they have different views about gender. Okay, the struggle is real. Voices Recommendation Millennials on Gender Identity. So saya membuat a random interview kepada responden between the age of 20 to 35. Saya hanya memberi mereka short question untuk mereka jawab, but I'm impressed. Some of them really take mengambil masa untuk menjawab dengan panjang. Objektif dia ialah saya nak memahami, I want to understand macam mana mereka deal dengan gender identity and what do they do about it. Memahami because you interview to get the thinking and the perception, and this is not a full fledged research, but so dia tak representative, dia tak mewakili rakyat Malaysia ya. Dia mewakili sekelompok millennial ini. But it generated some simple yet meaningful qualitative data that can be used as a foundation for a larger scale research. So this can be the basis for my future research. 6 questions were forwarded to them. How do you define the gender identity? What are the internal and external factors that help to shape your gender identity? Are you happy with your gender identity, or are you merely conforming to your religion and expectation of society? Do you feel that gender identity can affect your mental and emotional health? This is a very important question. Is gender identity important to you, or you never think about it? Because you're never exposed to gender issue, so you tak tahu. And you cannot blame all these people. Sebab mereka tidak pernah diberikan peluang, tak pernah dapat belajar media and gender, for example, ataupun tak pernah ada ilmu. Persekitaran mereka tak memberi ilmu itu. But now everybody ada smartphone, so there's no excuse. You have the smartphone, you have to be smart, and is gender issue important to you? Okay, question 1. How do you define your gender identity? Okay, ada yang memberi jawapan by birth definition, existing gender, maksudnya born with that genital, androgynous, mereka merasakan kerana perempuan, kerana lelaki, ni middle, saya ambil verbatim ya apa yang mereka katakan, middle of both gender, born as a man but struggling to be a real man. Society said I have female attitudes. Okay, this is very important to deal with. Dia dilahirkan with a penis, tapi dia merasakan ciri-ciri dia adalah lebih kepada wanita, keperempuanan. Dia suka melakukan perkara-perkara yang dikatakan women's role. So struggling every day, trying to understand who I am. How should I behave? How should I be? Genital and how my parents brought me up, but not me. My sexual orientation is towards the same sex. Okay, ini lelaki, tapi dia terpaksa menahan diri dia sebab parents, how he was brought up. Tapi sebab saya juga banyak membuat research lain yang menunjukkan bahawa when they can they are independent, they will go to where they will feel more comfortable. I'm a gay, okay? Ada yang I don't think. I'm a gay. I just like men. I'm a man. I like men. Gender fluid, sometimes male, sometimes female. Ada orang yang merasakan kadang dia nak jadi lelaki, kadang nak jadi perempuan sebab everything nanti at the end we'll deal with this literature review. Everything changes. It's fluid. Dia berkembang. Kita ada satu tahap dalam hidup kita merasakan, oh, I want to be a man today. I want to be a woman today. So this is very important to understand their voices. Previously, I was questioning why was I not born as a female, because I'm attracted to the same sex gender. Juga dia lelaki, dia mau dia suka kepada lelaki. Suka, it can be I like men instead of women. It can also be the sexual orientation. It will lead to that. Person having interest towards other person regardless their gender identity. Responden ini menjawab bagaimana they define gender identity dia. Person having interest. So basically this person is saying I don't care. I'm comfortable with my gender. Okay, my gender identity is female. Clear. Okay, I don't care, I'm a male. And then ada yang jawab a combination of both male and female, I'm basically both. Changes. It change according to context, siapa kamu jumpa, apa kamu lakukan. This person also male and female. Defined as per the appearance of the sexual body part and the confirmation from the professional doctor. This person is very sure that I'm a male or female. I'm a cis woman, female. Gender identity is defined as a personal conception of oneself as male or female or both. So this person memberi definasi dia faham. It's something personal that you yourself merasakan dan you tak perlu beritahu orang lain siapa saya. Jadi kalau you tengok when you read all this answer, you see that ramai dalam my respondent is about 18, at least 3/4 of them are having this issue. So di mana mereka nak meletakkan diri mereka, bagaimana mereka nak berperanan, apa yang mereka nak tunjukkan kepada masyarakat, dan bagaimana mereka nak mengelakkan orang membuat perception. At this age also, perception is very important because you want to create the right perception. At the same time, you are struggling with your gender identity. Okay, I'm not going through all the questions, only 3 yang sangat the flow is there because it's dia melengkapkan. Are you happy with your gender identity or are you merely conforming to your religion and expectation of society? Masyarakat, pandangan masyarakat sangat penting, pandangan bagi ya termasuk saya jugalah kan, pandangan ibu bapa sangat penting, apa orang pandang kita sangat penting because we are human and that's what human is all about. We are living in a community, society, and this respondent said agama tidak mempengaruhi kegembiraan, happiness towards my gender identity, yet not the reason for the gender that I'm assigned to. So dia respondent ni reda saya dilahirkan lelaki atau wanita. So yeah, I will move on. Yes, I accept my identity in addition to adhering to the norms of the existing religion and society. Yes, I'm happy with my gender identity conforming to my religion and have no problem with that. Yes, I'm happy with my gender identity. Yes, I am, and you still see me as a male externally and physically and at the same time conforming to my religion and society. Okay, this is very interesting. They are very concerned about religion and society. Mereka, grup ini, mereka tak nak dilihat sebagai deviant, menyimpang daripada satu preskripsi masyarakat, mereka mau diterima. Satu lagi, agama sangat penting kepada mereka. I don't know who they are ya, sebab I ambil random, I minta pertolongan my student and all, but I don't know who they are. So saya tak tahu, tapi agama memainkan peran penting. Jadi they have to suppress their gender identity. If you remember the first part, you can see ramai daripada mereka ada isu dengan gender identity because mereka tak nak menjadi who they are not. So can you see how pengaruh agama menyebabkan I have to answer this way so that I won't be looked as someone yang melakukan dosa, for example. I don't know, that's their thinking because I did not go into deeper. But this conforming but not by force. Maksudnya, saya akan terima, tak ada paksaan. I'm happy to be a woman and I'm lucky that I feel comfortable identifying as a gender directly related to my assigned sex at birth, as those who feel otherwise are often shunned and discriminated by society, usually due to religious reason. Jangan reason salah, tapi tak apa. This respondent is aware of gender issue. Dia tak ada masalah, dia tak ada apa nak dipikirkan mengenai dia punya gender identity, tapi dia sangat peka kepada mereka yang ada isu gender identity and to express their identity sebab mereka didiskriminasi oleh masyarakat berikutan agama. So dia faham. Jadi we want this kind of thinking. I'm not in the loop, but I want to help out. I understand. I want to help out. Yes, I am happy, not conform to society. Sometimes I'm happy, but sometimes I'm not. I'm happy because as a man, I'm able to socialize with my friends, and my parents will not worry about it, as opposed to I socialize with women. But this situation makes me feel unpleasant because I cannot get married with the person I love most, as it is against my religion, a big sin to marry someone with the same gender. So gender identity dia mengatakan, and also translated to the sexual orientation, I'm a man and I like men. Dari aspek apa masyarakat, pembentukan, konstruksi semua, I'm good. Nobody question me sebab saya socialize dengan lelaki dan bukan dengan perempuan pada kebanyakan masa. Jadi ibu bapa saya rasa selamat. Jadi saya tak akan menodai anak perempuan sesiapa, I guess. But I want to marry a man. I want to marry a man because I love men. Tapi I will not be able to do it sebab saya tahu ia adalah dosa. Jadi agama memainkan peranan dalam membentuk arah tuju mereka, but that doesn't mean that they adhere to it. Agama juga boleh dijadikan sebagai to cover up. You see? If I perform my duty as a Muslim, I sembahyang, I pergi masjid, I mengaji and all, I will be looked at a true blue Muslim. But at the same time, I do my sexual activities with the same gender. So perkara-perkara beginilah yang kita kena bantu. We cannot tell them don't be. No, you don't tell people don't be. You make them understand. You help them, you give them voices, you empathize, and you want them to understand that these are real issues that must be addressed by everybody. Okay? I'm fine with myself and I do not care what society say. They are not important. Okay. So senang. I don't care. You think I'm whatever. I'm okay. Ya, saya sangat gembira dengan gender identity saya. Sekarang, walau bukan mungkin, tidak semua masyarakat menerima LGBTQ dan semestinya agama juga melarang, tapi saya mesti gembira. These are respondent who are very adamant about ataupun mereka sangat percaya kepada gender identity and express it. I don't care about the rest. Okay, I'm happy with my gender. However, I'm not happy with people's mindset regarding gender. People have rigid point of view about male and female in terms of roles. For example, men should not go to the kitchen because it is female duty. Female cannot lead group, family, etc. because it's a male position. I believe that each gender can choose what they want to do. Instead of mocking people, we as humans should embrace all the uniqueness and versatilities. So, respondent ini faham bahawa why do you kenapa perempuan je kena masak? Perempuan juga boleh bawa lori. So apa masalahnya? Happy is subjective. I am normal with identity and gender. I accept the gender and comply with my religion that I was born with. But as an androgynous, double standard is everywhere. So you can see the reading from all this. Apa yang kita boleh fahami adalah bahawa ada 3 kategori. Satu yang I don't care. I want to be who I am. Yang kedua, mereka akan hidup dalam double life, dunia yang berbeza. Yang ketiga adalah yang merasakan bahawa I was born with a vagina, so I shall stick with it. Question 4, do you feel that gender identity can affect your mental and emotional health? Okay. Ramai menjawab yes, it can. Ini maksudnya ramai orang, bukan dia emphasize. Perhaps, depending on situation, obviously, no. Yes, for those who do not fit the norm, people who are fluid, non-binary, non-conforming, or trans are scrutinized and invalidated by society. Even so more in Malaysia, this community is more prone to experiencing physical and mental abuse. Okay, we will get to this. Kenapa giving voices is important? Because ini dia punya consequences. For me personally, no in that regard, but yes, in terms of the harassment faced by women daily, it mentally exhausting to see how women are treated in this country, and it is even more tiring to educate stubborn men who don't care. This is an example of a respondent who is aware of what is really happening in this country, in Malaysia, about when we talk about gender, the gender issues. Sexual harassment, big issue. Domestic violence, big issue. Patriarchal, big issue. So, you kena seseorang itu satu gender identity you kena deal with, and kedua apabila you go into the society, you fit into the society but you are not who you are, all this will happen. So these are real issue, real struggle that we see in this country. Yang ini yang saya suka sekali. It is even more tiring to educate stubborn men who don't care. Bukan mereka tak faham, mereka faham. Tapi disebabkan oleh mindset patriarchal, mereka enggan faham. They understand. Okay. Yes, this happens because the views and the sector of society often influence and affect the emotional and mental aspect of a person. My gender identity does not affect me emotionally and my mental health. As a matter of fact, the identity that I have been assigned has helped me to have better emotion and mental health. This is a cisgender yang very sure what this person wants to be. Yes, definitely, your emotional and mental health can take a toll on you if you fail to meet the society standard. Again, preskripsi oleh masyarakat what gender is. Jadi kalau you gagal untuk memenuhi standard itu untuk menjadi manusia normal, okay, normal is a contested word. Also adalah perkataan yang deconstruct oleh masyarakat. Normal gender identity, I guess it is the pressure and the pressing gazes you have to face every day. But I can't say much because I do not have to go through these kinds of situation. Okay. This is a brilliant answer for me because this person is very sure about her or his gender identity, tapi dia empathize, dia faham, dia nampak bagaimana masyarakat akan memandang you say wrong. Masyarakat akan stereotype, masyarakat akan judge you just because you dress differently, I'm sure. Just because you're a man, you put on a pink shirt, hayo, you perempuan ke hari ni? I've heard that. And that is so sickening. Okay? Question 5, is gender identity important to you or you never think about it? Okay, ada orang not important. Important and concerned as I want the society to accept me. Let's put it in perspective. And I'm a boy and I love dancing, cooking, and do things that does not make up a man. But the point is, you accept who you are, understand what you love, and understand that it's okay. Back to the essence, religion and tradition. Okay, apa-apa saja yang mereka buat, they will always go back to tradition and religion. There is no need to be loud and proud about it. Maksudnya, I'll live my life this way. I tak perlu nak bising-bising. I'll just do it. Jadi mereka suppress, but they move on. Never think about it. I don't really care about what people think of me. I've never thought about it since I'm always sure about my gender identity. I never think about it as my gender identity considered as normal by the society. Jadi responden yang merasakan diri mereka normal, it looks easy on them. But again, we don't know because again, gender identity is something that you don't shout to people. Sometimes you don't even express. Okay, is it important? Based on benefit and safety, is one of the vital issue. But we need to respect and try to understand each other that lead to a mature understanding and remove those rigid old school mindset. Yeah, sangat penting. It is important for one to have the identity, otherwise you lose it. Never think about it. Very essential to me because it involves my sexual orientation. Important? Yes, very important. People think about it all the time. But sometimes people cannot put what is it, cannot place because you don't know. It's called gender identity. Okay, so do we move on or we move away? The lived realities. Hence, giving voices is crucial. Sebab tu kita kena bercakap as academician, we do research and then we publish in order for people to understand that they are not alone. And academic research has been conducted and demonstrated that giving voices is crucial. It must be addressed kerana it has toll on the emotional and mental health. People who don't fit the gender binary but feel pressure to follow it can experience an extreme form of distress called gender dysphoria. These are for the transgender. Okay, these are just the American Psychiatry Association. I quoted them about transgender. You can read. Okay, the text. What is it? Sebentar ya. Okay. Gender is not something that we are born with. No. And not something we have, but something we do. Westman and Zimmerman, 1987, stated, did a research and say that we perform. And Butler, 1990, reinstated what Westman and Zimmerman discovered. We perform. Kita pakai baju, saya memakai baju kurung instead of baju Melayu. Di Malaysia baju kurung ialah baju kebangsaan untuk orang Melayu. Lelaki namanya baju Melayu. So saya tak pakai baju Melayu sebab I remember just now di awal tadi I quoted Butler. Sebelum kita pakai baju, kita genderless. Bila kita pakai baju, we come. So we perform. In the famous words of Simone de Beauvoir, women are not born, women are made. The same is true for men. The making of a man or woman is a never-ending process that begins before birth. From the moment the doctor say the it, tak tahu apa lagi, it, bila keluar, oh, it's a she or a he. If gender float naturally from sex, so hidup ini tidak ada apa-apa lagi mau dipikir sebab it's a natural process. Okay? Kita beri saja mereka menjadi lelaki atau perempuan, but no. Life is about a lifelong process of gendering. Kita belajar bagaimana untuk menjadi lelaki atau perempuan. So, gender is deeply ingrained in our social practice, in understanding of ourselves and of others. That's why I ask them, is it masyarakat, religion atau apa? Okay, dan dia tak berhenti. Apabila kita keluar bekerja, kita kalau anda adalah seorang sekretaris, wanita, this is how you behave. Kalau anda adalah apa saja position yang anda pegang, anda wanita, lelaki, this is how you behave. Okay, it is expected. Okay, this is very, very good reading at Kurt Penelope and McConnell Ginnett. The gender order is a system of allocation, diberi, compartmentalized, based on sex class assignment, lelaki, perempuan, of rights and obligation, perempuan tak boleh buat ini, perempuan kena buat ini, lelaki tak boleh buat ini, lelaki kena buat ini, freedom and constraint. I cannot do this sebab masyarakat kata perempuan tak boleh buat begini, ataupun I boleh buat gini sebab saya lelaki. Limits and possibilities, kekurangan dan peluang. Sometimes peluang dan kekurangan, contohnya the term glass ceiling. Wanita tak boleh menjadi CEO because of the glass ceiling. It's not because of the glass ceiling. The ceiling itu penuh lelaki. Jadi wanita tak boleh nak nak penetrate the ceiling. Okey, contoh ya, saya pernah melakukan kajian di organisasi media. The first thing, of course, the top 5 semua lelaki. All the editors, until now, it's still like that. So saya pergi, saya kata saya nak interview about the positioning of women. The first thing the editor asked me ialah, you nak apa lagi? Perempuan kan dah boleh kerja. Peluang kan dah banyak, you nak apa lagi? See, the fact that you tanya you nak apa lagi is already problematic. Okay, and then jawapan mereka ialah kenapa perempuan setakat ni yang saya ingat ada 2 saja wanita yang dapat go up to the group editor. Mereka kata perempuan bila berkahwin akan ada anak. So kalau anak sakit, siapa tunggu? Perempuan. Lelaki tak. Lelaki kalau ada perayaan macam Aidilfitri, this is the answer ya. My wife must go back to my mother's house. I don't have to. They understand. I'm the breadwinner. I'm a man. And perempuan tamat kerja kena pulang fikir nak masak apa, nak makan apa and all. Not all lah. Ada wanita yang sangat bertuah mendapat suami yang memahami dan tak payah fikir mengenai itu. Lelaki, they can go and play golf. Golf is known as a game of men. Ada ramailah wanita yang main sekarang. Tapi the answer that they give me is when we go play golf, we don't talk about golf. We talk about work, choices. So we close rank and in this we are togetherness. Sports, football. Kalau you ketua satu organisasi besar, you suka main soccer, then you akan mengajak your staff main soccer and you bond. So you akan nampak lelaki lah. Those are the limits and possibilities, power and subordination, but of course, and semua ini didokong oleh structures of convention, ideology, emotion and desire that we know. Semua ini mainkan peranan. It is so interwoven that it is often difficult to separate gender from other aspects of life. Okay, At the same time, the maintenance of gender categories depends on reinforcement in day-to-day behavior. Apa kita lakukan hari ini seperti kata Butler, we perform gender, we perform gender, we perform gender. Okay? But because structure and practice are in this dynamic and dialectical relation, there's always a possibility for change. The possibility is there. One could say that the social order is in continual change, that even what appears to be stability is the result of nothing happening, but of events of social reproduction. So, dalam society kita reproduce. Kita melahirkan semula, but the little boy pushing his doll carriage and the girl with a truck are also part of the picture, even though their actions may not yet be so widely adopted into social practice. Life and daily living are about change, about things happening, about creativity and intelligence at work in the space left open by the incomplete whole of ideologies and institutions. Maksudnya, the voices tadi yang merasakan bahawa no, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, and then kemudian ada masyarakat dan agama yang mengekang mereka, the limitation and the constraint, and in the end, they say it's very important, but what do we do? So, changes, gender is fluid, dia bertukar, dia boleh berubah mengikut keadaan, konteks, you dengan siapa, you buat apa. So, by way of concluding, kenapa ini sangat penting? Yang pertama, kita tahu is about psychological well-being. Sebab itu, kita akan mendapati bahawa ramai orang depressed because of this. And gender intersect with other identities like ethnicity or class is very important. Gender juga adalah about class and perkara-perkara dalam hidup. Gender doesn't stand alone. Dia juga ada economic consequences of gender identity. Kalau you gender identity influences socio-economic outcomes, Ackloff and Cranton decide about the importance of social identity from sociology into economics. Jadi, kalau dah diberi identity, roles, ciri-ciri wanita adalah sebagai homemaker and lelaki keluar bekerja, maka dia impact our economy. And gender identity and relative income within household. Another prescription often associated with gender identity is that a man should earn more than his wife. Masih ada pemikiran macam tu walaupun sekarang ni sama-sama kerja, sama-sama dapat wages yang sama, but that kind of mentality is still there. So some women tidak dibenarkan bekerja oleh suami mereka kerana I'm the breadwinner, I earn more. You jaga anak. Sebab sekarang kan ada banyak-banyak masalah dunia. Okay, hence listen carefully to the voices. Gender identity disorder causes a person to experience serious discomfort with her own biological sex orientation. It can cause problem for the person in school, work, and social setting. It can lead to mental health problem, including depression, anxiety, drug and alcohol addiction, as well as higher suicide rate. Voices unheard will have negative implication. That's why we must take all this into consideration. So lend your ears and hands. Quit judging. Perkara pertama ialah stop judging and stop stereotyping. It doesn't bring anywhere. It doesn't. Bila you judge orang, you stereotype orang, you bukan tinggi pada orang tu. You lagi rendah sebab you tidak bersifat kemanusiaan. Pay attention to the silence. Yang diam ni yang bahaya. Yang cakap banyak, cakap kuat ni pun bahaya. Sebab dia cakap macam-macam. Tapi yang diam tu, you have to pay attention. Offer professional help. There are a lot of professional help. Bantu mereka. Mereka tak tahu nak pergi mana. Satu. Yang kedua, social stigma. Takut nanti dituduh. Kalau get mental help, orang kata you sudah mereng. So dia takut. Respect differences is very important. You have to respect differences. You kena embrace differences. Walaupun you tak suka, tapi tak suka is about you. The society at large is something else. And yang paling penting, be nice. Be nice, be humble. Be nice lah. What else can you do in life if not be nice? Kalau you tak suka pun, you tak tahu satu hari nanti, you juga berada dalam kedudukan yang sama. Remember, the struggle is real. It's not something make up. It's not something, orang bukan nak jadi depressed, orang bukan nak ada anxiety sebab nak attention. No. The struggle is real. So, it's nice to be nice. Okay? Lagi senang jadi nice daripada not nice. Life is better when you cry a little, laugh a lot, and are thankful for everything you got. Okay? Ini saya di Papua. I went with Prof Nuraida buat research by the United Nations on domestic violence. Papua Indonesia ya, bukan New Guinea. Oh, I love Papua. I wish I can go back. And when you talk to them, people who are not exposed to the world, gender identity, gender violence, and all, we are much better sebab kita ada pertolongan. Mereka tidak. So memang one of my most memorable research trip bersama-sama. Ini Profesor Noida, the boss. Ini sebenarnya ex-PhD student, sekarang Dr. Rizky di Universitas Mercubuana, Jakarta. Of course, ini saya, bukan orang Papua. These are our agent. She is so good. She's so good. Okay? To be continued, maksudnya isu gender ni tak akan berhenti begitu saja until the day we expire. Masih ada lagi orang menghadapi isu gender identity. So, terima kasih banyak-banyak Dr. Yuyun di atas kesempatan ini. Sukma Hayati saya nampak di situ. Terima kasih hadir juga our ex-student. Dan terima kasih semua kena memberi peluang kepada saya untuk berkongsi ilmu. It's not my ilmu. Everything comes from Allah. So, we share. So now, you share what you like to share. Terima kasih.